When your dog licks you, do you actually know why they're doing it? Most people smile and call it kisses, but what's really on that tongue would make you think twice about ever letting it near your face again. This is one of the most disgusting habits hiding behind one of the sweetest gestures in the animal world. And the worst part, what they licked right before you, most owners have no idea. Let's start with where that mouth just was. 1. Their mouth was just on their own butt. Ever wondered what your dog was doing 5 minutes before they ran up and licked your entire face? Because the answer is not pretty. Dogs routinely lick their own rear end, their private areas, and yes, other dogs' waist. That's not a rare thing. That's a daily ritual. And then they walk straight to you, tail wagging, tongue out, ready to give kisses. Here's what makes it worse. A dog's mouth carries over 600 species of bacteria. And a study published in the Journal Archives of Oral Biology found that many of these bacteria have zero overlap with the ones in the human mouth. That means your immune system isn't even familiar with what's being transferred. You're not getting puppy love. You're getting a bacterial care package from places you don't want to think about. And if you're someone who lets your dog lick around your mouth or your nose, that's a direct entry point. Veterinary researchers have documented cases where owners developed infections from exactly this kind of contact. Not because the dog was sick, but because what lives in their mouth was never meant to end up in yours. But here's where it gets really interesting. That same disgusting mouth, it might actually be able to do something that could one day save your life. I'll get to that one later. And honestly, it might change how you see every single lick from this point on. 2. Wolf pups licked blood off their mother. Why do dogs even lick in the first place? Like, where did this whole behaviour actually come from? Because it didn't start with love. It started with survival. And it's way more brutal than you'd expect. Thousands of years ago, before dogs were sleeping on your couch and stealing your socks, their ancestors were wolves. And wolf pups had a very specific way of getting fed. When the mother came back from a hunt, her face would be covered in blood, raw flesh, and whatever was left of the kill. The pups would lick all of that off her mouth, not because they were being affectionate, because that was dinner, but it gets even more intense. Researchers studying wolf pack behaviour found that pups would lick their mother's lips aggressively to trigger a reflex that made her regurgitate partially digested meat directly into their mouths. That was the original meaning behind licking. It was never a kiss. It was a request for food that had already been eaten once. Now fast forward to your living room. Your dog jumps on the couch, puts their face right up against yours, and starts going at it with their tongue. That instinct never left. It just got repackaged into something we decided to call cute. But deep down, your dog's biology is still running the same ancient software. They're running a program that once meant, feed me what's in your stomach. And hey, if your dog's hidden history is grossing you out as much as mine, hit like and subscribe so we can share this with every dog owner who still thinks those licks are just love. 3. Your dog is training you to obey them. What if I told you that every time your dog licks you and you react, you're not the one in control, that you've actually been trained by your dog? Sounds ridiculous, right? But the science behind it is kind of humbling. Here's how it works. Your dog licks your hand. You laugh, you pet them, you talk to them in that voice we all use but never admit to in public. And in your dog's brain a little light goes off. That behaviour just got rewarded. So they do it again, and you react again. And this loop keeps going until your dog has basically built a system where one lick gets them everything they want. Attention, touch, your voice, your focus, all of it. On demand. This is called operant conditioning. And a study in the journal Animal Cognition found that dogs are remarkably skilled at learning which behaviours produce consistent responses from their owners. And licking works every single time because most people can't ignore it. Think about it. When your dog licks you, do you ever just sit there and do nothing? Almost nobody does. You either push them away, which is still a reaction, or you lean in and give them what they were after in the first place. Either way, your dog wins. 4. They taste other dogs' pee on purpose. Have you ever caught your dog licking something on the ground during a walk and thought, please tell me that's not what I think it is, because it probably was? And the worst part, they weren't just licking it, they were reading it, like a message board, written in urine. Dogs have a special organ in the roof of their mouth called the vomeronasal organ. And this thing is basically a biological scanner that processes chemical signals found in other animals' urine. When your dog licks a spot where another dog peed, they're not being gross for the fun of it. They're extracting real information. We're talking age, gender, health status, stress levels, even whether the other dog is ready to mate, all from one lick off the pavement. This process is tied to something called the Flehmen response. You may have seen your dog do it without knowing what it was. They lick something, then curl their upper lip slightly and hold their mouth in a weird half-open position for a second. That's them pushing whatever they just picked up to afford that organ so they can get a full read on it. Researchers at Wisdom Panel confirmed that this is one of the most sophisticated sensory tools dogs have, and it runs entirely through their tongue. So when your dog comes back from a walk and wants to lick your face, just remember where that tongue has been. It's been collecting data from every fire hydrant, patch of grass, and sidewalk puddle in the neighbourhood, and now all of that is heading straight for your cheek. 5. This type of licking is a cry for help. Does your dog lick the same spot on their own body for minutes at a time? Maybe their paw, their leg, or the same patch on their belly over and over until the fur starts thinning out. Most owners see that and think it's just grooming. Some even think it's relaxing for the dog. But what if that licking had nothing to do with cleaning and everything to do with something going on inside their head? When dogs lick themselves compulsively, it's often a sign of anxiety, not the kind where they're shaking in the corner during a thunderstorm. The quiet kind, the kind that builds slowly when they're left alone too long, when their routine changes, or when something in the home feels off to them. And instead of barking or acting out, they turn inward, they lick, again and again, because it's the only thing that gives them a small hit of relief. Veterinary behaviourists have linked this to a release of endorphins that happens when dogs lick repeatedly. It works almost like a self-soothing mechanism, the same way some people bite their nails or pick at their skin when they're stressed without even realising it. Your dog is doing their version of that, and because it looks harmless, most owners never connect it to distress. So if your dog has a spot they keep going back to, don't just brush it off. Pay attention to when it happens. After you leave, when the house gets loud, when their schedule shifts, that lick is a sentence your dog can't say out loud, and they need you to read it. 6. They can smell your sickness before you. Remember earlier when I said that same disgusting mouth might one day save your life? This is what I was talking about, and it might completely change the way you feel about every single lick from now on. Have you ever noticed your dog suddenly licking one specific spot on your body over and over again? Not your face, not your hands, but the same exact patch of skin that they keep going back to no matter how many times you push them away. Most people just think it's a weird habit. But what if your dog was trying to tell you something your own body hadn't figured out yet? Dogs have up to 300 million olfactory receptors in their nose. Humans have about 6 million. And research published in the journal PLOS One found that trained dogs were able to detect certain cancers in breath and skin samples with accuracy rates above 90%. But here's the thing, it's not just trained medical dogs that pick up on this. Your dog at home is working with the same biological equipment. They smell every chemical shift your body goes through. Cortisol spikes when you're stressed. Blood sugar drops when something is off. Hormonal changes that happen so early, your doctor wouldn't even think to test for them yet. There are documented cases of dogs obsessively licking a mole on their owner's skin that later turned out to be melanoma. Others kept nudging and licking a specific area on their owner's chest or abdomen weeks before a diagnosis confirmed something was growing there. These dogs had no training, no commands. They just knew something was wrong because their tongue and nose told them so. So yes, your dog's mouth has been in places that would make you gag. Yes, they carry bacteria you can't even pronounce. And yes, their ancestors licked blood and regurgitated meat off each other's faces. But that same mouth, with all its disgusting history, is also wired to detect things inside you that no machine on earth could catch that early. And they deliver that information the only way they know how.